For this taping procedure, we're going to support the UCL of the thumb to make sure that if it gets bent back or jammed in competition, we can help support that. This can also be used preventatively. We use it a lot with American football, but it can also be with basketball or any other sport that it might come in contact with. This, if it is a recurring injury, is a very simple tape job. We will start with the very basic thumb spica, which you can utilize, and then we will continue on to a much more heavy-duty thumb spica in addition to what else we will put on to really help support the thumb throughout the activity. This is one where, again, pre-wrap is optional based on patient preference, but if you already use it, it is nice to get it to just break over the patient's thumb like that so you get full coverage around it. It saves you trying to get creative with putting pre-wrap on. If you are to get any rolls like you just noticed I did there, just simply pulling on the pre-wrap when that occurs will break that, release it, and get it to lay really flat again for you. So that's a simple one there. So for this, you would want to utilize a 1-inch tape if you can. If all you have is 1.5, you can definitely do a split roll and then utilize that to go through. So I always like to go around the wrist and then come up to go around the thumb. In doing so, you want to make sure that you are actually hitting that first joint off the hand to really make sure that's what you're stabilizing. You have to be careful with this one that you are not putting too much tension around the thumb because it's very easy to cut off circulation there. And then I also like to go through and do a reverse thumb spica. After I do two one direction, I will go back and do one the other just to help increase the stability. So pulling the tape out, as you noticed that I was doing, also helps to get your angle laid down, which is always good and makes it just a little bit easier. If you find that you didn't get it perfectly, you can always pull back like I did and then go through and put it back on. So this is the basic version that we would do there. That was the simple version that we would start with. This is where we're going to start to go and support a little bit more. So we're going to run an anchor strip up through the hand, and I like to just come back around, and anytime I can tie that into the wrist, if we're dealing with American football players, I like to because that helps support it. So from there, we are going to use that anchor on the back side, always pulling from the dorsal side of the hand to the palmar side, and we're just putting 1-inch strips overlapping all the way down to help support that joint of the thumb. So we'll go through. I always like to close it off to make sure that everything is completely stable and connected together. Then we'll come back, put on another kind of anchor closure strip to make sure that all the ends are firmly wrapped up. Come back through, and if I can, again, patient preference, get through that tape through that thumb web. I like to do so there in order just to make sure that everything's tied together, but that will help increase the stability for the thumb tremendously depending on what your goals are and what their activity level is.